Alright, so in this video I'm going to cover the process of buying a Canyon bike. Well, at least the process I went through. And I'll split it into two parts. First part is if you don't have a bike, if you don't already own a bike. And two, if you already have a bike. You can only buy Canyon bikes online. You can't go to a bike shop to, test it. If you don't own a road bike already, then my first suggestion would be if you live close to Canyon's headquarters in California, then see if you can go and test it there, whatever bike you want to buy, or in Germany, I guess, if you live in Germany. You can go there. I would call beforehand because they actually have events sometimes. A few weeks ago or a few days ago, I can't remember. They had an Ironman on Oceanside, and they had an event at the headquarters. So when those events happen, they're typically pretty busy. So you might not find a lot of people available to help you get fitted and to show you around and stuff. But ideally, you want to test the bike before you buy it. Going to Canyon's headquarters would be the first option. Now, if you don't live in California, or if you live in California but you're just too far to actually go, they actually have group rides that they go around the country. So I guess they tour and they take the bikes around. I don't think they take all the bikes, but at least Ultimate, Endurace, Grail, I guess, and some other ones. So if you go to their Facebook page or if you follow them on Instagram, they list the places they're gonna go and the contact information for you to try to get a bike to test. I actually got the chance to go to one while I was in Denver. I live in California, but I was in Denver for a wedding, and that weekend it just happened that they were going to have a group ride. The Colorado Classic was happening, the race, so they put together an event, and their website or their Facebook page had all the information, who to contact, what to do, what to bring and stuff. If you do that, they'll give you instructions. You can send an email to whoever the contact person is. You tell them the bike you want to try and the size. So since if you don't already have a bike and you don't know what size you're supposed to get, Canyon actually has a bike fit tool on their website where you take measurements and they tell you everything you need to measure and how to measure it, and then at the end it gives you the frame that you need. So you could do that before actually going on the well, I guess you gotta give them a size, so you should do that before telling them what size frame you want and the bike and everything. Now the third option would be if you don't know what size you're supposed to get, go to your local bike shop and get fitted there, and that'll give you an idea of the frame size you need, and then you can compare that frame size geometry against one of the Canyon bikes frames. On their website they also have the geometry for each frame, so you could grab the one that you got fitted on at the bike shop and compare it against the Canyon. That is not completely bulletproof because of course every bike has a different geometry, so but at least that will give you a ballpark size that you need. And of course the last option would be in case someone, like one of your friends already has a Canyon, then you can ask them if you could test ride it and see if you like it, or see if you have if the frame fits you, or if you're comfortable there. So that's if you don't own a bike already. Now if you do own a bike, you have a good idea, you have measurements, you know what your saddle height is supposed to be, you can compare the geometry of your old bike against Canyon's geometry, and you can test it out like that. Now that's not completely bulletproof. It could be a little tricky, I guess is what I'm trying to say, because I actually have an all aluminum frame. It's a Specialized LA Sport, and it's a 54 centimeter frame size. And when I compare the geometry against the Canyon, the small frame, it actually kind of matched on some of the, most of the measurements, but some were, different. I actually had the chance to test the Canyon Ultimate, the frame, the small size frame, and I realized that the small frame was not the right size for me, even though it was very similar to my old bike. I actually used Canyon's website to see what size frame I'm supposed to use, and the result was frame extra small. So I went ahead and actually got an extra small when I bought mine, and that worked. Now a little bit of the process I went through. So the bike I wanted, which was the Ultimate CFSL 7.0, I first decided I wanted the bike in like July, I think, of 2018. And when I went to Canyon's website, they didn't have the bike in stock, at least not on my frame size. I kept going to their website every day pretty much to see if they were going to get any in stock. So I didn't know much about it at the time, how to contact them, or how the whole buying online only worked. So I finally called them, and they told me that they were going to get bikes in stock in the fall. And the person I talked to told me either August or September. I was like, okay, well, that's about a month away, so I can wait. And August came, September came, October, November, and so I called again, and they told me, no, we're not getting any more bikes this year, and we might get some at the beginning of the year, like January. He's like, okay, well, at the time I was like, well, I was kind of set on the bike, so I decided to wait. And then January came by, and nothing. So mid-February, I was like, well, that's it. I'm just gonna start looking, someplace else. It's been, more than 6 months. I wanted to get a new bike, and finally, around about the beginning of February, like first or second week, I think, they finally got some in stock, or at least the one that I wanted. So I jumped on it, bought it on a Saturday, and I live in California, so I guess that helps, and I got it on a Tuesday. Once you place the order, they give you a call to make sure that your address is right, and I guess just double check that you actually ordered the bike, which I thought was good. So they asked me for my mailing address, and if everything looked good to me, I guess, with the bike. I said yeah. Now when I got it and I started putting it together and doing my bike fit, I realized that the stem was actually pretty short. The stock, the bike came with a 80 mil stem, and the frame, like I mentioned before, was already smaller than the bike that I have right now. So with the 80 mil, it felt really small. I called them and I asked them if I could exchange it for 100 mil. And the person I talked to told me that they didn't really have an exchange program with their stems, so I had to buy one. So at first I was kind of bummed, because you're buying it online and you don't really know how it's gonna fit unless you've tried it before. And I guess I didn't realize that the 80 mil was gonna come with it. The website, I don't remember if the website had that information or not, but anyway, I called them and I bought a new one because I couldn't exchange it, and the guy actually gave me a discount, and he took They didn't charge me for shipping, so I thought that was fine. I mean, I saved a lot of money just by buying this online, and so I figured it wasn't a bad deal. When they call you, to check your mailing address and everything, if you know that you need a longer stem, then I think that would be the time to let them know, so that you don't have to buy another one once you get it. So last thing is, of course, you can always return the bike. They have a 30-day return policy. Now this is similar to what you would do with your local bike shop. So you get the bike, you get fitted, and you try it out, I guess just around your neighborhood, or on a short ride or something. Because if you want to return it, if it's like really used, like you went on a, I don't know, 100-mile ride, or I don't even know if there's a limit, I guess, but if it looks like it's been used a lot, then I don't know that they would take it back. Yep, so hope that helps. And if any of you have any questions about the process I went through, you can just put it in the comments and I'll get to them as quickly as I can. So thanks for watching.